It's day 4 of Reservoir's 5-week maintenance program, with the Eikenhof pump station due to be pumping at just over 60% capacity today. Many areas could experience very low pressure to no water. The water utility announced extensive maintenance of its infrastructure, which began at the weekend and will continue until the end of July. Newzroom Afrika's Veronica Makhoali is on site as the work meant to improve water infrastructure continues. Veronica, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. So yesterday was day 1 of a business day with the water infrastructure maintenance plan going underway. What do we know about the impact that this has had on business as well as residents?
Well, Aljan, I can tell you that from just the very start of the Eikenhof pump station operating at about half of its capacity from yesterday, some residents already started to feel the pinch and the constraints in water supply there. But today, Rand Water has now increased that capacity to about 67%. This is, of course, to ensure that water maintains in the system and that there is a flow of water. However, that does not mean that there will be a guarantee that taps, of course, will not be running dry. And Rand Water has been very clear about this, but has also been very clear with municipalities about their efforts in making sure that there is a consistent supply of water, be it even if it is an alternative supply in forms of tankers and JoJo tankers. But we are finally getting to understand a little bit more of what this maintenance actually is about. We've been telling residents to prepare. We've been telling residents to make sure that they have water, but we're going to get a little bit more understanding of the intricacies, essentially, of Rand Water's water network, that pipeline, of course, that services about 11 million users in parts of Gauteng, the Free State, Northwest and Mpumalanga. And you'd understand that the next 5 weeks is going to be a mammoth task. But to give us a little bit more understanding as we are on site here today, we're going to be speaking to the executive manager of bulk services here at Rand Water. Mayor, thank you very much for your time. You can tell, of course, from the rumbling in the background that we are on site. For our viewers at home, just tell us a little bit more about where we are and what is taking place here.
Okay, we are at good morning. We are at Waterval. It's Waterval reservoirs. It's 2 reservoirs that are supplying the Randburg area as well as Reservoir all the way to Lenasia. Sorry, not Lenasia, but Lanseria Airport. So this area, the work that we are currently doing here, we have 2 reservoirs that are supplying the Randburg area and as I indicated, the Honeydew area and the Reservoir area. So as the years have gone by, so the first one, number 1, was constructed in 1953. And number 2 was constructed in 1960. And during that time, the demand was not as high as it is now. So what we've seen over the years is that number 1 is the demand has not increased that much compared to number 2. And as a result, number 2 depletes very fast compared to number 1. So what we're trying to do now is to make sure that we have that flexibility so that we are able to then share water from reservoir number 1 and reservoir number 2, so that when there is high demand on number 2, we are able to then share water amongst the 2 reservoirs. That's basically why we are doing this cross-connection between reservoir number 1 and reservoir number 2.
And just tell us a little bit about the interconnectedness of these reservoirs and this pipeline. As you know, we've been seeing the technicians here this morning digging through those pipelines. What are just some of the, as you've mentioned, the infrastructure challenges that you've seen with these pipelines? As you've mentioned that it is quite an old system as well.
Look, our pipelines, the oldest of our pipelines is 117 years, and the youngest being 1 year. So with the 117 years, obviously the infrastructure will get old as the time goes by. And what Rand Water then does, we do maintenance in this infrastructure, we do replacement, we do refurbishments of our infrastructure, just to make sure that we are able to continuously supply the demand. But as the demand is also going up, We are then able to, because of the network of our pipelines, we are then able to do some cross connections where we ordinarily wouldn't, or when we started with rainwater, we could not, because at that time there were not so many developments. But with the developments, we are then able to then do some cross connection and make sure that we are efficient in supplying our water. Yes, the infrastructure is old, but as I indicated, maintenance is continuously done, replacements are continuously done, and this whole maintenance program is to make sure that we continuously supply you with water during high demand seasons as well, because it's where we normally experience most of the problems.
All right, thank you so much for your time. I can tell you, Aldrin, that throughout this morning we'll be getting a little bit closer to take a real look at this incredible infrastructure that Randwater speaks about, and really to get a sense of what the work on the ground will be, and also perhaps maybe to get some word from technicians on the ground as well. For now, it's back to you in studio.
Thank you so much, Veronica Makhoali, joining us from outside the Eikenhof pumping station.